Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Note Closure Show. As always, Scott Carson, and with it being the Monday, the third Monday of the month, we're excited to have back our good friend and rockstar marketer, Mr. Elijah White from Serving Social.
Hello.
Happy New Year, man. We didn't have you on last month because I was too busy in the Bahamas. You know, tough life.
Yeah, right.
You're like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah. So yeah, I wish we could all be going through those struggles.
The struggle is real, my friend. Struggle, because trust me, I would rather been here with a whole lot cheaper than the Bahamas. But anyway,
true.
We are. It's a pretty good looking morning here Monday. It's President's Day.
Yeah.
Just wrapped up our first workshop of the year. Had 105, 110 some people on there. So it was a good time. I'm a little worn out this morning. I'm not gonna lie, like I usually am after workshop, but that's why I called Elijah. I was like, "Come save me, man! I'm gonna have you carry the show this morning for the most part." But
we're doomed.
We're doomed. It's a sinking ship. But for those that are listening to the Note Closure Show the first time around, or watching the video replays on YouTube or anything like that, share a little bit who you are and kind of what your focus is.
Yeah, so again, my name's Elijah. I am the COO at Serving Social. We are a social media marketing company, content creation. And in fact, that's actually changing a whole lot right now. But, you know, for now, we'll stick with that. Been in the marketing business since 2008. Serving Social started in 2014. And ever since then, we just been all about, you know, showing people, one, how to use social media, how to market your business online, and then, you know, the tools and resources that are out there that you can utilize in order to do that. Now, of course, we also offer all of those services in-house. So whatever you don't want to do, you know, we definitely want to do that for you. So yeah, I mean, that's us in a nutshell. We focus a lot on Google local, Google search and maps marketing, especially. You know, there's a lot of changes out there going on in the digital realm of the online internets. And so, yeah, we just try to educate, you know, and teach people what they can do, how they can do it, and when they should do it. So
that's a good point there. Let's talk about it, because you guys, everybody has a focus for the first of the year, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to, you know, get started, rock and roll. And one of the things that we wrap up our workshops with is always kind of a 15-point plan. You can see like the plan written on the wall there for everybody. Right. And one of the biggest things, number 4, number 5, is always about getting your social media up and running, whether it's Facebook or your LinkedIn, your bigger pockets, which is primarily with real estate, Twitter, YouTube, you know, meetups, and also going out to the REI clubs that a lot of people are at. And one of the things that you mentioned when you walking in was kind of the social communication, right?
Yeah.
You want to rely what that is?
I would say this: when you're looking at social media, there's a couple things you gotta pay attention to. So now that we're at the first of the year, first, did you do social media last year? If you did social media last year, really take a deep dive into your analytics. What worked, what didn't work. You know, how much growth did you have? Did you have the growth that you wanted? Did you even make goals to grow? Were you just kind of throwing stuff out there to see what stick? And, you know, at that point in time, you just really need to see what worked, what didn't. And then looking at this year, you know, what did you not like? What did you like? What did you find challenging? And just really pull all that together and actually make a plan. You know, one of the biggest things, you got to make a plan, right? If you really want to have a successful vacation, you don't just buy a plane ticket and go somewhere. You get a hotel room, you hopefully have rent a car, you look at some of the things that you can do while you're there. Same thing with social media. You want to have a plan. You want to make sure that you look into the type of social networks that are available to you. You don't want to, in most cases, go after every social media network because, well, you have to have an audience, demographic, the type of people that you're marketing to. And you want to make sure that that social platform actually caters to the people you're marketing to, right? So having a plan is really important, being able to see what you did last year, and then really put together, you know, the plan this year on, hey, what can I do? You know, can I do more video this year? Can I be more consistent this year? Can I talk to people? You know, engagement is a huge thing too.
Wait a second. Are you talking to people like?
Yeah, exactly. No, like, you know, it's useful information. Like, for instance, you know, when I would say a lot of people, you know, just getting something out there, you know, we just got to have something out there. Well, yes and no, you know, definitely quality and creative, you know, content is going to perform way better than just overall just getting more and more out there because, to be honest with you, you see a lot of these really big companies and they're really diversifying the way that they're marketing because there's so much noise online that it really sounds like.
That was perfect one for that. It's got like 4 of them. Yes. Yeah. We have a blah, blah, blah button in the office today. Well, it's in here all the other day. As I was cleaning up, I found it under a stack of files.
Yeah, dude, well, you got a ton of these things.
I know. But let's talk a little about the communication because somebody reached out to me this morning, said, "Hey, I've been doing what you taught me. I've got a ton of new LinkedIn connections with bankers and asset managers. Should I reach back out to them?" I'm like, "Yeah, say hello, say thanks for connecting." And he's like, "Well, should I ask them if they've got notes available?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, sure, it doesn't hurt."
Yeah, Well, you got to start the conversation somehow. I mean, it's. People, even if you have all of that information on your LinkedIn page, it tells people all about what you do, what you offer, and everything from there. That's one thing, but how many of us actually go through and read absolutely everything that somebody does on a LinkedIn page, right? Compared to somebody who instantly engages you and say, "Hey, are you looking for this? Can I provide you this? Hey, if you need this service, I have it." I get that happen all the time. I mean, take in mind when I really put myself out there on social media, I get tons of LinkedIn connections. I mean, tons of them. Christy, she gets even more than I do. I think it's because she's female, but she's at the same time, she has a lot of diverse expertise, and especially with social media marketing. And, of course, on LinkedIn, everybody's looking for the CEO or the COO, So with that, you have to reach out to people. You have to talk to them. You have to engage. That's one of the biggest things that most people miss out on when it comes down to marketing online, especially through social media, is engagement. I post a photo, great photo. I post video, oh, great video. Well, people comment. Are you responding to those comments? Are you keeping the conversation going? If someone says, "Hey, thank you so much. I really appreciated this post that you put up. I really liked this aspect of it." Do you say thanks? Or do you say, "Hey, thanks, so-and-so, me too," and then you continue the conversation, right? And I would say that if you sit there and you talk with somebody in, real life, right? Let's say person to person, me and Scott, if Scott just keeps on saying things to me and I'm just telling him thanks, or I'm just not responding at all, Scott's not going to be real inspired to continue the conversation.
You're saying you say something and I just say heart?
Yeah,
or give you the thumbs up.
You're like, "What's that?" "Oh, it's emoji."
It's a heart emoji. Imagine how difficult that would be. But that's what we see a lot of people doing these days, especially in the teens. They're on their phones. They're saying hi like this. They're not having a conversation really for the most. But for them, it is a conversation.
Right. Well, and take in mind too. I mean, that's what we're looking for here. It's really important to understand your audience. If you're going after teens and stuff like that, you want to be hitting, the engagement online really hard. From there, though, you want to be engaging people enough to get them to do something. Do you want them to sign up for your webinar? Do you want them to sign up for your newsletter to keep up with more information? The only way that you do that is by engaging them, informing them on what they can do and how they can engage you even further. And then, once they engage you, what can come from that? What kind of benefits do they get?
It's the same thing as like just having a website. A lot of people believe that they have a website. Oh, I'll have all this business come in just because I have a website.
Yeah,
that's not the case. You have to literally go out and still hunt down your potential clients and refer them to your website, or give them something to go back and click back to your website. So,
right,
like with the podcasting meetup, I had a meetup group. I got a Facebook group. Whoopie doodah. I get a few opt-ins, but the biggest time I got opt-ins is when I went on myself on an evening and just went into and found Austin podcasters and sent a message to them. "Hey, think you might enjoy this. Hey, you might enjoy this." On LinkedIn, on Instagram, people responded, "Oh, I can't make it, but." I'm like, "Okay, can't make it, but hey, go ahead and sign up for the group. It's free. You'll be alerted of everything else going on." Well, we had 30 people show up to it.
Yeah.
We're working on one as well for South by Southwest. Right. We kick into heavy gear here in the next week or two to really drive people to that. But that's the thing. I think a lot of people are like, "Hey, I'm going to throw something up there, and that's all I'm going to do." And that's literally just the first nugget that you've got to have done, right? You've got to constantly be reaching out. And that kind of takes us into, I think I can transition it to kind of becoming almost like a micro influencer.
Right. Yeah. So micro influencers are, you have people who actually have authority. Scott Carson, I would consider a micro influencer. He has, yeah.
Just a little bit.
Well, you have the audience, you have the downloads. I mean, your podcast, you have success with the podcast. You have, a lot of individuals wanting you to be on their show, to share your content. You have a lot of users engaging you. Being a micro influencer is actually a really great way to tap into other audiences, to build brand trust, especially, for instance, you're just getting started out. You find somebody who already is working with the type of people you want to work with. And, take in mind when it comes down to, and Scott, you mentioned this earlier, is that they're not your competition. Right? You're an individual. Not everybody is going to like the way that I say things compared to another guy that I don't like the way he says things, but he clearly has other clients and we both do the same thing. And we're able to work with each other and understand that. Right. So being a micro influencer, there's all these individuals that you can engage with and you can involve yourself with, even if you feel like you're competing with them, you're not. The world is a big place. The pie is big. You just got to find out where your piece is and take the bite, right?
Yeah, you got to go out and carve out your own piece. You can't wait for it to be hand delivered to you on a platter.
Yeah, well, and exactly. But when you start engaging with micro influencers, you'll find that hey, they can work with you and show you that that path to be able to get there, right? Mm-hmm. Especially if you're already very knowledgeable in your industry, but you just don't have the audience, right? So you have the knowledge, you don't have the audience. So what you're looking for is somebody who has that knowledge and has that audience that you can start working with and start sharing information. And take in mind too, like for instance, brick and mortar businesses, if you're going to engage a brick and mortar with a micro influencer, what they're looking for is individuals that have a lot of influence that can come inside that business, experience their product, experience their services, and be able to tell their audience about that. So, on a local level, a micro influencer could be that local person in your community on Instagram that has, above 2,000 followers. Now, take in mind, just because somebody has a lot of followers doesn't mean they're an influencer, because I can buy 1 million followers all day long, but I'm looking for, like what we said earlier, engagement.
I have a buddy that's got a $500,000 followers on Instagram.
Uh-huh.
And I love the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely love the guy. He's been influenced on here. But he was, oh yeah, you should sign up for my guy that help me out with this. And I get the guy on the phone and I'm like, okay, because I know what my avatar is. And Instagram necessarily isn't the best avatar for what we do in the note business, because it's our primary audience is 35 to 65. Mm-hmm. Instagram doesn't have, they have people at 35, 65, but you don't see it's not quite the best way for real estate or real estate investing and things like that.
Right.
So I get to talk to his guy, and his guy's like, oh yeah, we're going to make you go viral. I'm like, wait a second. Is this going to be viral that if I can somehow dictate towards the right people, or is this going to be some 17-year-old Bangladeshi kid across the world that has a link in Instagram profile that's just going to follow me out of the blue? Because that's not really effective use of my time or marketing at that point.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. And it's not necessarily it's those type of customers aren't necessarily going to engage you on the level that you're looking for. Right. You're looking for a quality connection. Like having 500,000 followers that don't really contribute to anything that you're doing. They really don't watch your stuff. They're following you. That's great, but they're not going to your website. They're not visiting the links. They're not engaging your posts. They're not liking. They're not commenting. Yeah. But yet you could have 2,000 followers and you get a lot of comments. You get a lot of likes. You get actual, real, true engagement from other human beings that are enjoying the content that you're bringing to the table. Now, so Instagram is one thing, right? But you got Facebook, you got LinkedIn, you got a lot of these people out here that you can do these cross promotion programs with, that can bring the audience, that can give you the exposure that you need, but you got to engage them. You got to actually work with them and let them know that those are the type of influencers you want to be a part of, and just start talking to them, figuring out, hey, what can we do together? What kind of programs can I put together that you would want to be involved in? Or, whatever the case is. I think most people are always interested in collaboration, as long as it's collaboration and it's not a one-sided thing, right? It has to be a win-win. People love win-wins because, well, we all like to win. And
collaborate and listen. Ice is back with a brand new adventure, something. Grabs a hold of me tightly, flows like a harpoon, daily with marketing. Let's stop. turn off the lights, and my phone glows. To the stream on Rock Instagram like a vandal, like the stage and watch me dance like a jandal. Totally pulled out of my ass there or anything.
Got DJ Carson.
Yeah, Allie Larder would be excited about that. The little Riri would love that. But it makes me crack up about that a little bit because I was thinking about how the big, I think it was on Friday or Saturday, how all these people were in uproar last week because Instagram scrubbed a ton of bots off of fake accounts off of people's profile.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Like there was a big thing that Kylie Jenner lost like 1 million followers, and they were all, I'm like, "Yay, that's great." They weren't real people following you anyway.
Well, it's a ripoff.
Yeah.
I mean, this is why, especially when you're engaging influencers and taking my at Serving Social, we consult with people who especially are looking for influencers to really try to guide them down the right path on this because, again, you could sit there and say, well, I'm going to pay this person, let's say $5,000 for this one post because they have all of these followers. But yet, when we truly dive down deep into that account, you can tell really quickly if that $5,000 is actually worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Somebody like Kylie Jenner, they're going to get a lot of interaction,
Mm-hmm.
Not only from their fans, but also all the,
they get paid like $1 million for an Instagram post.
Yeah. Well, but
ridiculous.
They have the audience there.
Yeah.
I mean, Homegirl's like what? She's worth like $100 million something dollars.
No, she's like they did a crowdfunding page to get her to $1 billion. The last 100 million is a crowdfunding page.
Let's
what the hell? I want that. But the funny thing is,
I would like y'all to do a crowdfunding page to finance my company.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, right.
So let's talk about micro influencers. So here's one thing that I just did recently. So we have the podcast.
Mm-hmm. One
of the things I'm able to do is I'm able to go back in and see what each episode has. And we just went over 246,000 downloads as of last night. So we'll hit 250 by this Friday,
right?
It's a big milestone for us.
Mm-hmm.
But I went back in and looked at each episode the last couple of days, see how many downloads I've had. And it's in a direct proportion. I wanted to see who shared the episodes.
Oh, right.
Because if we shared, great. I would like them to share.
Right.
If they didn't share, we'll put a little stars. Okay, we probably won't have them come back on because part of the goal is not only just good content, but also that it's a share. Like Mike Taravella mentioned, this guy's a big influencer and he helped me inspire to do my podcast. Thanks, man. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. I'm on Mike's show later on. Nice. In a couple of days, if I remember correctly. If not, I think it's today actually, but we'll make sure. I'll check my calendar. But that's the whole thing too.
Busy man over here.
Busy man. But that's one of the things that I like about podcasting is the way I look at it is I'm helping that person who has a podcast with good content. I'm helping influence their audience,
mm-hmm.
and vice versa. It's like I'm speaking, and even if they only have 100 downloads an episode, it's like I'm in front of 100 people. If they've got 1,000 downloads, that's even better.
Yeah,
because I'm in front speaking. And part of that has helped me influence my schedule so that, okay, I would rather, if I could stay home and I get booked 5 or 6 podcast episodes in a day,
mm-hmm.
not that I do that, but if instead of me traveling to one event, it just makes more sense for me to do that and then being able to help out. It's a win-win across the board for the most part.
Well, and I think you give when you start doing that kind of stuff too, it gives people more of that opportunity to engagement is something I'm going to really drive home today is because everything that we do online for the most part is all about engagement.
Yep.
Okay. Do our social postings engage you? Do they spark some kind of question? Do they spark interest? Does it give you enough information that makes you want to go and, click the link and go to my website and find out more? Do you want to reach out to me? Do you want to, sign up for my newsletter? Again, subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to my YouTube channel, whatever the case may be like that. It's just such an important piece. But yes, I mean, even if it's someone who doesn't have a big audience or something like that, it's one thing I've always hated is when you're in business and you're working with others, you find some companies where you're just too small. You're just too small. But yeah, I could be one of the strongest partners in the future that they could ever have. Now, I don't know that for certain. That's all speculation. But at the same time, having that opportunity to, actually have them engage with me and see what I can do. Hey, I think all of us would like to be in a room full of 100 people. And from there being able to not only have a room full of 100 people, but make sure there was a camera in the back that filmed the whole thing, and then that we could use that for later on. And something like a podcast is able to do that. And not only am I getting in front of your audience, you're getting in front of my audience, and then anything that I do from then on out is going to also, now it's giving you more exposure, right?
Exactly.
But being able to figure out who those people are, who's complementary to you, and it doesn't even have to be somebody in your industry. It could just be a complementary industry. You know, with real estate, you know, I'm part owner of a moving company here in Austin called Simpler Moving and Packing. Shameless plug. And
shameless plug. Hang on a second. Let's add that there to the. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. But with that, you know, we have a podcast that we're working on right now and really looking at the type of content that we want to put out, because one, you know, moving is boring. People hate moving in the first place. It's stressful. You know, it's expensive. You know.
Oh, I think I just pulled it back myself without even doing it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, just, and I've heard that. You know, guy shows up at his house, just went and bought the box of getting ready to pack. In the first box he tried to build, he pulled his back out. Right now he's done. Okay, so but with that, you know, there are so many things that go along with the moving industry. You got realtors, you got cleaners, you got construction, you got, you know, everything to do on the outside of the house, interior of the house, and then anything in between, investment. I mean, there's so many things that we can look at, and all these different avenues that we can go down and find those influencers in those industries and just really engage them on the right level, make sure it's a win-win, and just watch our audience grow.
Mm-hmm. And that's the big thing too, is if you're working with the people and you're sharing their information, most of the time they're one of the first ones that want to refer business back to you,
right,
to do business with you. Especially, like, I'll give you an example. A lot of us are using LinkedIn and Bigger Pockets to really kind of connect with other asset managers, banks to get products. Actually, tonight's topic is creating the perfect pitch book, mm-hmm, and using a short video to help get your message out in a LinkedIn LinkedIn comment.
Oh, cool.
So you don't have a lot of real estate there,
right,
but it gives you enough room to put a link to a video or link to something about what you do to really get the word out and,
right,
and encourage conversation.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, hey, just connect you. What do you have? What do you have? What do you have? And people are like, okay, I don't know you from Adam, or you, right, you got a good glamour shots, headshot. I'll take a look at it. Exactly. Exactly. Or you know, the thing is, you want to encourage these conversations. And those are some of the best things that you can do. And besides just commenting, share something. The one thing I hate, there's a guy that comments on every time I post like a podcasting post. Oh, great. Hey, follow my podcast. Oh, hey, great. Follow my podcast. Hey, jackass, I already do.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm already, hence we're friends or follow you. You know what? Third time he did, it's the same message. I'm like, okay, never mind. Unfollow.
Yeah, I've you know, there is a way to really piss people off. And here's the thing, and about that engagement. One thing I've noticed is that, like, for instance, I'm in the Google Street View program. So I have a lot of companies reach out to me saying,
one of the premier Google Street programs here.
And because of that, I have a lot of companies that reach out to me and they're like, hey, you know, we're looking for photographers in your area. We'd love to connect with you. And I'm like, great. Yeah, let's do it. Because, you know, not only could I fulfill the job for them, but at the same time, I can also see like, hey, your company, you have resources, you know, I have needs as well. You know, we could really partner up on something. You know, we do stuff nationwide. So, but what I end up finding is that 2 days later, I get the same email. And I'm like, I already responded to your first email telling you, yeah, I'm down. You know, let's set up a time to talk. And now I'm getting that second email. And so at this point in time, now I'm spamming the company and I'm telling them that, you know, like I'm done. I'm blocking everything. Right. And that relationship's over. Okay. Mm-hmm. Same thing with, you know, on my social media is that, you know, I have people that reach out and they'll ask me like, hey, you know, we have this, and this, and, you know, we would love to get with you and talk to you about, you know, software development. And I'm always up to talk to people about software development or social or your next best service. You know, you got something cool that you think is really great. Like, let's talk about it. Let's really see where I could implement that into what we already do. Because I know technology moves so quickly. It is hard to keep up with all the new products, right? And so we make an effort to try to find those new products. But at the same time, I already said yes. I already said, let's schedule a time. And then I get that same message from you again on LinkedIn. Well, you're either a bot or something, or you're trying to take some cheap way out of getting in contact. And that's not how I do relationships. That's not how I'm interested in building relationships. Mm-hmm. And so automatically, like, that opportunity is gone. Mm-hmm. You know, being able to, you know, pissing people off that, you acted like you were somehow personally reaching out to them, and then they realized that they were just a part of some mass message, is really disappointing.
Yeah, anytime you can customize it. I mean, even if you're doing a mass email out to somebody, anytime you can kind of even put their first name in the title or first name something, that helps. I agree totally. Yeah. But the thing is, aggravating is when it looks, and it ends up being the same canned response.
Yeah.
You can tell, like, hey, we talked about that. Oh, hey, yes, what can I help you with? A bot. Okay, this is a bot. Okay, great. Mike asked a question here.
Yeah.
What's the best way to aggregate all those interactions with all the platforms, and Bigger Pockets not being the most exportable? Yeah, Bigger Pockets is not exportable at all. The whole goal with Bigger Pockets I try to get is to get people to go on over to the website, go on or opt in there, and then carry on the conversation on my platform versus Bigger Pockets. Because Bigger Pockets will stop you if you've communicated with more than 12 people in a day.
Oh, right.
If you post more than 2 things in their marketplace, they shut you down. I mean, they're like Nazis over there.
Oh, geez.
They're horrible. But it's such a great platform because there's so many real estate investors. You can't send the same private message to the same individual because they'll start recognizing, you're looking to spam. Same thing on Meetup.
Right.
You can't post the same thing in different groups, even though it may be you have a deal in Tampa and you want to go to all 4 or 5 of the Meetup groups and post a deal there. You've got to change it up, switch the paragraphs around so it doesn't fit in there. The biggest thing I can tell you, Mike, is communicating on a regular basis and taking the time, whether it's through you or an assistant, to log in, communicate with those people individually, or grabbing their info, whether it's their name, email, phone number, and then putting that into your system. It's a bit of a tedious interaction. One of the funny things I always crack about is when people go to LinkedIn and they post something like, oh, I got a list of deals. And then it'll be like 100 people like, oh, send me it. And they put all their emails in there. And I just kind of chuckle like, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. And I'm thinking like, yay. Or let me do that again. Copy, paste, copy, paste.
So, and that's a lot of times that's what you end up doing. Chatbots. The reason why people love using chatbots is just that, right? Is that one, I've never tried to act like my chatbot was an actual person. Okay. I always wanted to make sure people knew that it was a chatbot. And then from there, though, you automatically, as long as you can get them to subscribe to your chatbot, you open up this line of communication where, yeah, you might send out a mass message, but as soon as they respond, you're talking to them individually. Now you're able to actually sit there and do instant messenger with those people on a regular basis. Same thing. Google My Business has that, messaging feature that people can message you through, and you can sit there and just talk with them through your Google My Business. Now, of course, local businesses compared to somebody working within the real estate industry who's looking for investors and things like that is going to be different, right? But, being able to utilize, those type of resources can help you out there. Now, as far as when it comes down to your social media, really being able to see like what all is coming through all at once and being able to manage that, social platforms like Sprout Social can help you out with that. It's a automatic, it's a social media scheduling software. So you can get on there, you can schedule all your posts out for the entire month. You basically it's social media automation, but they have social listening. In fact, Sprout Social actually purchased Simply Measured, which was one of the best, besides like, well, I guess actually I would probably say they were one of the best social media analytics softwares out there. I mean, they would really look at everything. They could, especially with social listening and stuff like that, those are features that they offer. So services like that can really help you get control of the actual social media aspect of it. Then of course with podcasts, I'm going to go to Scott on this one since he's the guru when it comes down to podcasts right now. I think he probably has more of an understanding on that.
So the beautiful thing about podcasting is anybody can do it, whether it's a Facebook Live video,
even you,
or even you, or a YouTube video that you use. Because that's the beautiful thing I like what Chris Kremitzos did with the Podfest Expo that's coming up here the first weekend. Is he has a kind of a true podcasting track, which is like the audio side.
Right.
He also has a video side to those that are just using YouTube. And then, of course, there's a lot of crossover in between.
Right. A lot of crossover.
So the biggest thing I look at when I was looking at doing the podcast, is when we've been doing videos, is I look as each platform as a net. Okay. Now, the smallest net in my platform The smallest net that we use is actually Instagram. It's a small net, but we still use it. We still have 2,000 plus followers, maybe 3,000 plus. I still post on a regular basis there. You know, we're going out and connecting with other podcasters or other investors there and doing that. But our biggest net is our video. So our biggest net is really, it's twofold. It's our YouTube channel, because YouTube is what? It's the second largest search engine owned by the largest search engine.
Right. Well, and video, it counts for about 80% of the content that's being consumed. So not doing video, it's, you know, it's
basically choosing. But that's the thing. I'm in part of these different podcasting groups, and there's all sorts of people. And the first thing I do is I threw a podcast up on iTunes. How come only 15 people downloaded it? I'm like, well, first and foremost, iTunes is not even a top 100 download website.
Yep.
It's not even in the top 100. And if you're just throwing it there and expecting everybody to fall over dead, like, oh, I got to listen to your podcast or I'm going to die, you know, and they all have that high pitched voice that sound like Mickey Mouse. Okay?
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Oh boy. I got a new podcast listening to. Oh boy. Minnie's going to be so excited. Let's go back to Ratland. Okay.
Gotta subscribe.
Gotta subscribe now.
I'm gonna get that when I get home. But anyway, the thing is that you got to throw some of your actives. It's like planting seeds, planting trees. You got to throw your seeds out across the point. Give it time to marinate. Give it time to germinate and kind of grow, pop up the odds, and then you can see which is growing faster.
Right.
Did you plant bamboo in one field that's skyrocketing at 6 inches a day, or did you plant something that's going on in bloom like once a year? Another part of the area there. Christy White's is shaking her head at us like, oh my God.
Love you, honey.
Yeah.
Well, so you're so great. So to add on to that, right? All of these things that are out there, that's the top of the funnel.
Yep.
I mean, this is the top of your sales funnel. So, you know, you got your video, and maybe through video, you maybe you've even broken that down into YouTube, Vimeo. And then from there, you're even looking at your Facebook stories, your Instagram stories, you know, your Instagram TV. You know, you could break all those down into one video category because that's all your visuals, right? So you do one podcast. You take that video and then you just chop it up. You just chop the fuck out of it. And now you have all these different size of videos, all these different versions of it that go through all of your channels. And that's the top of your funnel, because that's exactly what we're trying to do here is we want to try to engage people. You know, you hear people say, well, we're going to meet them where they're at. Well, they're on YouTube and they're on Facebook and they're on Instagram. Now, not everybody is using these platforms, but if you're going to be creating this type of content in the first place and you really want to engage people, you're going to cast that net. You're going to really see where some of your biggest traffic sources are coming from. But that is the top of your sales funnel. Your social media, all the video. I mean, even I would say, you know, email marketing, I would think is a little bit further down because you got to get them in there in the first place, right?
Got to collect that at whatever.
Yeah, you know, you got to get them there in the first place, and you want to bring them into the website. And even the website's not, you know, that's once they get into your actual website, you got to also make sure that the website is designed to be a funnel. You know, they got to get the information that they're getting in, and you want to move them through your website appropriately. You know, UX, UI, you know, just the overall usability of a website is something that I think a lot of people get lost on. Because, well, I got my website up. Okay, great. You know, we just talked about that. You know, people think you just get a website up and, you know, we're going to be making money here. Well, that's not necessarily the case here, because now we got to set up all the social. We got to set up all these outlining top of the funnel sources that are going to bring the audience in. But once they actually get on the website, does your website serve them? I mean, is it clickbait to get to, you know, a badass social posting that then you go to the website and it's just lackluster and it's like, no, well, this didn't give me any information. You know, I thought I was going to figure out how this person over here turned, you know, a mom and pop shop into a 7-figure business. And then I get there and it's kind of like, well, where's that information? You know, where is all of that? And, you know, a lot of those things can really affect the way that people engage you, how they actually subscribe to your content. You know, again, if you have, you could have some really good content and you keep on telling everybody to go to this place that really sucks. they're probably not going to want to engage with you and not be a part of that because they didn't like that version of it. And that could be just enough for them to just wash their hands of you completely and go after somebody else.
Yeah, let's hang out. Let's go hang out here, but we're going to go to the dentist's office and I'm going to do a root canal on you.
Yeah, right.
Yo, don't want that. But that's the thing. You talk about something having basically everything kind of uniformed across the board. The same thing with colors or same images or logos, have it kind of look the same so it all kind of blends together. Like nobody could figure out. I bet it'd be really hard for people to figure out what my favorite color is. Says the green wall behind me.
Any guesses?
Any guesses, right? But they see that because I got 2 colors of green in my logo.
Right.
It's green all over my websites, all over other things we have, whether it's Note Night in America webinars, whether it's the Note Closer Show podcast, or it's even things that, but it's uniform. People get an idea of that and they get to expect it. And it actually works in my favor because now people are like, I'm looking for the green email. The asset manager like, oh, the guy that has the green email.
Yeah.
I want to send him stuff. Or I want to reach out to them because, oh, hey, I recognize their branding. I recognize what they're doing. Or, hey, I went to LinkedIn. I mean, I don't have anything for them now, but I see that they're posting stuff on a regular basis there.
Right. Well, so branding, of course, branding, we all know how important that is, right? Being consistent with that brand, really figuring out what your brand is and going after it. Now, take in mind, your brand doesn't necessarily have to be who you are. I know a lot of people say that, well, your brand is who you are. No, not necessarily, because, I'm an individual, but Serving Social was created for a specific purpose. And so the reason behind Serving Social, and I wanted to make sure that, me and Christy wanted to make sure that the branding was actually for that purpose, right?
Yeah.
Why we created Serving Social. That's what my branding went after. Okay?
Yeah. The spoon with the alphabet soup.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
We're serving social here, baby.
That's right. That's right.
And so that's really important. And you want to make sure that that's consistent everywhere. And to take in mind, this is not just for brand recognition. I will tell you this, when you want to really jump into the bare bones of SEO, search engine optimization, being consistent across the internet is really important. So your name, your address, your phone number, any information that you put out there on a regular basis should be the same everywhere.
So we found a funny story here. Last weekend, I was on a 2-day workshop with Merrill Chandler from Credit Sense. It's also a very thing to help you boost your credibility to get funded from banks.
Yeah.
Having the same type of information. So you don't want to confuse people. But yeah, it's one of the most important things, being congruent in the things that you're providing on a regular basis.
Well, exactly. So check this out. Right now on Google, okay? Now, Google, when it comes down to how they rank people, there's 41 factors. And for the most part, we think we know all those factors, but they change on a regular basis, okay? And on top of that, every day there's like millions of new searches that are performed on Google that even Google has never seen before, right? So when it comes to human activity, it's also something different, right? But when it comes down to a local business, let's say this, you're only doing investments in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, that's it. You're only doing investments in Atlanta, Georgia. Yet when Google looks at local businesses on how they rank you on 3 different factors. It's prominence, relevance, and proximity, right? So when somebody's looking for somebody that offers that looking for your services in your area, they're going to look at one, how close is that person to me? That's what Google is going to look at. And then based on your information that you have out there, how relevant is that information? And then when it comes into prominence, how much of that relevant information is everywhere? And how many places is that found? How many times did you actually go out there and look up your business and make a consistent effort to make sure your business information is correct all over, and that you're on a regular basis putting more information out there? So this is when it even comes into blogs. That's why podcasting can be so powerful, is the amount of content that you can put out there, the amount of byproduct that you can create from one podcast, and then how much of that becomes that prominence aspect that you're actually putting out there online. So for instance, you got your podcast, right? And you don't just put it on iTunes, you put it everywhere. Spotify, Pandora, like any place that you listen to, you do to a podcast.
Yeah,
that's one thing I really like. I listen to a lot of NPR, and some people might shake their heads, but
it's not just a lot of
Well, I don't know. It's National Public Radio. You can trust the public, right?
That's right. That's right.
So basically from there, though, what they say is, yeah, you can listen to more like this wherever you get your podcast. You know, now they're just saying, hey, wherever you listen to your podcast, we're there, because they made that effort. They knew, like, hey, we do audio. This is our business. This is how we get in front of people. So let's make an effort to make sure that all of our information is everywhere where people would listen to their shit. Right?
Well, and it's the same thing. You look at, like, I think the first person that was really good about using radio and transition radio would be Howard Stern, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, the Eagle out of New York was a popular show. Then they turned it into a TV show on the E! Networks.
Right.
It then he had a movie come out. And then, you know, he's got the podcast because he got kicked off of radio. He had to go to XM radio.
Had to go to XM, yeah.
You know, but that's the thing is, and you could substitute podcast for just, we could say YouTube videos. Because a lot of people, I think podcasting discourages, there's a lot of work, which is what I thought, but just sharing a video.
Yep.
Just share, because that's what I did for 9 months before we ever launched a podcast, was doing a very simple Facebook Live video on a topic each day. Right. A lot of times it's me holding my camera here. It's on a tripod, or even having an assistant out there holding it while I'm throwing ducks over my shoulder into the water. Being goofy. But that's just simple things that you can do. And they don't necessarily have to be, and they could be a nugget, you know, a 5-minute nugget, or what are you working on today? What's the day in the life of Laura Blanc, Silverhammer Investments?
Yeah.
You know, day in the life of Charles Wilson out there on the assets that he's doing. And so that's the thing, is if you're looking to do something and let's kind of wrap it all together here. You're looking to be more of a social influencer and sharing what you're doing, just sharing what you got going on, just sharing. I mean, if people are taking food porn pictures, or too busy, you know, taking a selfie from the right angle so it looks like they got a lot of cleavage, you know, guys, it's kind of hard to get a lot of cleavage there. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Anyway,
still need some more.
You need some more. Just more push-ups. But what I'm getting at is sharing what you have going on, whether it's on Instagram or then sharing across the board, right? Things. Just get in the habit of doing it. Doing one thing, getting a little bit good at it, then adding something else. Doing something once and then working on doing it for 7 days straight.
Yep.
You know, there was a podcaster that was at Podfest Expo last year, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to do live video for 30 days." She's and she did great, and then she stopped. And I'm like, "Why would you stop doing live video?" Well, I just challenged myself. I got to the end. I'm like, "You had all of this traffic. It wasn't about you. It was about what you were providing."
Yeah.
You teased all this other audience, and now that audience went away somewhere else.
I mean, and perfect example of this. First off, a narrative is so important. Okay. That's why being consistent, because every day you're telling people a little bit more about that story, right? Yeah. You're telling people a little bit more about what you're doing, and they can put together this overall, like, hey, this is what this guy does. This is what he does on a regular basis. This is how he goes about life. You know, you even hear with people in reality TV or anything like that, they're like, you know, I always just say to myself that, you know, the one most important thing about this is this, right? So now they've just shared a little bit of tidbit of who they are and how they go about, but we're building that narrative. And one of the things I would tell you right now is I watch a lot of gaming stuff online, especially through YouTube. And because, I mean, we're watching this billion-dollar market emerge, right? So, but like, what is engaging people to continue to watch that type of content, right? But pay attention to the way that the guys that are live streaming and what they say, because even on their recordings, they'll let you know, like, hey guys, you know, sorry, you know, I was sick for a couple of days. You know, I mean, they're apologizing for not putting out content because I want content. Where is it at? Like, I watch you, I subscribe to you. I get on YouTube to figure out what you are doing. Yeah, exactly. You know, it becomes that, hey, I got to get through the next episode. All the way to the point where they have premieres. Hey, subscribe to my YouTube channel, do this, buy that, and you actually get videos released 2 hours before everybody else, right? There's like all these things that even YouTube's in doing.
You get on Elijah's hot list.
Yeah. Oh yeah, baby. The hot list.
The hot list 2 hours before. Or 48 hours before.
My new podcast. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The marketing hot list.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. The marketing hot minute.
We take things you hate and make them sexy. So, but from that, you'll see that these, squirrel. You'll see that these YouTubers, they will even tell you that, I lost 50,000 subscribers because I just didn't put anything up for a week. Because as soon as you stop fulfilling that need, they're going somewhere else. It's just like any relationship. You have a wife, you have a girlfriend. As soon as you stop taking her out on dates, you stop spending time with her, you stop having those conversations, you think she's going to hang around? I mean,
no, she can jump on a plane and take off.
Yeah.
Hey, guy. I have a little airplane here, Southwest, that I picked up the plane. It's one of the things I always crack up. I bought it. It was the crazy idea. The plane just crashed there. Of taking it with me and doing a stupid video when I'm traveling. But a lot of people are like, what's a grown man doing playing with a little kid? Is he? I'm afraid they're going with Stephanie. Is he a good boy? Yeah. You're a brave soul to travel with such a crazy man.
You're such a big kid, aren't you?
Yes. Does he not need duct tape? Oh, yeah, Steph put duct tape, which is great. Laura Blanc asked a question here. What's the best software to chop up a long video into shorter ones? And I was going to say, you shared Cut Story with me. Yeah.
So Cut Story is one of them. But, actually, Instagram, I've noticed when I uploaded bigger videos, they start chopping them up for you. So I've noticed that, which I haven't done too much on social media. Fair warning. We're doing a ton of changes right now in Serving Social in regards to how we're going to be delivering services, products, information. And because of that, that's been taking up all my time.
Well, but you guys do a lot for other people. That's the biggest thing.
Well, of course. I mean, and yeah, we're always kind of playing in the background with other organizations and other groups. So
he's the man behind the man.
Yeah, the man behind.
Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain. He's the curtain.
I'm behind the curtain. That guy that pulls that curtain. So that's usually how that works out. But, I would say Cut Story for Instagram is one of them. It's really easy. You just throw up a video and it chops it up into 15 seconds.
Increments.
Increments. And that's all through, that's all done on your phone. If you are doing it on your computer, honestly, if you're not doing it on a mobile device, I would recommend, if you're on a Mac, iMovie, it could come standard, really easy to use. From there, I personally use Adobe Premiere just because, if I'm going to be actually sitting on my desktop computer chopping up a video, I'm going to make sure it's the best damn video I can get. I'm going to be able to do all my color corrections, work on my audio, subtitles, all that kind of good stuff that I can bring into there. There's a lot of great apps, and I can definitely share more of those with you depending on exactly what you're trying to do. Not every app is going to serve that purpose. Some apps allow you to actually chop up the video, but you can chop up the video, but you're only going to use that one little section. But it comes with a lot of other cool stuff that you can do to that video to really enhance it, really make it be something more than just, maybe something that's kind of like a stale piece of bread. So, but yeah, Cut Story is one of the things I would recommend for Instagram, and that can actually work out really well for Facebook. So if you're doing stuff on Facebook, but yeah, like I said, from there, I would, Adobe Premiere, got Final Cut Pro, all of those seem really overwhelming. But I will tell you right now, if you just use the basic features of cutting a video, dropping it in there, cutting it and exporting it, it's actually really easy.
Very easy.
And that's definitely something that we do have some classes that we're going to be coming up on that we'll actually be teaching, some more about video editing and some of the simple tools and tactics that you can use. It's actually a part of the Thinking Local podcast that Serving Social is actually launching coming up here. We're a little bit behind on it.
Just film it.
Just do the damn thing. That's all we're saying.
Film the damn video. Send the damn email. Post the damn photo.
Yeah.
Exactly. What's the best way for people to reach out to you, as always, Elijah?
Yeah. So Elijah at servingsocial.com. Of course, you can go to www.servingsocial.com to find out more about Serving Social. That site will be completely revamped here soon, as well as if you reach out to me at Elijah at servingsocial.com. I also have some forms that I can send over where we can basically do a 30-minute consultation call. So if you are trying to figure out what your next line of business is, or where you want to go, I'm trying to get some direction. I know that not everybody has a budget. So, sometimes we're just looking for some guidance to get you there. I'd rather guide you to get you where you need to be. So when you have some money, you want to come spend it with me and not somebody else, right? So I kind of did this.
Yeah, but you didn't name me. That was the understood the other guy.
Okay, yeah,
the
other guy. Okay, so I'll do this one next time. But yeah, so if that's something that you're interested in, just email me, Elijah@servingsocial.com. We'll set up a 30-minute consultation call with you, and we'll talk about your marketing goals and figure out what direction you can go and if what you can use. Yeah,
guys, take advantage of that. It's one of the things that actually it's how we originally met. I met Christy in San Diego, an event. Found out we're both awesome locals. She put together, reviewed some things, gave me some ideas and some stuff, and we've all been really good friends since.
Yeah,
so looking forward to what you guys got rock and rolling here.
Been a lot of great synergy,
and a lot of sake bombs.
So much
sake. All right, guys and gals, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode of the No Clue Show. Elijah, thanks for coming in.
Yep.
Hanging out. I know you're headed to another appointment here shortly. But I want to say thank you again. Glad to have you back on.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yes, definitely. And go check it out, servingsocial.com, everybody. If you're looking for kind of a game plan, you're kind of overwhelmed, and you need to kind of know where you're at and what you've got going and what was working for you, and then get some suggestions to kind of moving forward in the rest of the year, that's the place to get started. So we will see you all at the top, everybody. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.
Bye.